Well, good Labor Day evening, everyone. It's Eric here with a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. We'll take a deep dive into our short and long-term weather here. If you happen to stop by and say hi at the Canfield Fair at the WFMJ tent this weekend, it was great to meet a lot of people. Thank you so much if you did stop by and meet Dana or Leslie or Derek and myself. We had huge crowds over the weekend. Boy, the attendance numbers are way up this year. We actually ran out of cards to sign in the WFMJ tent on Sunday. I think we had 1,500 of those things printed up, and we gave them all out. That's how busy and crowded it was. It was great to see everyone. A lot of people came up to me and said, "Hey, I really appreciate your videos and your blogs, and I'm a real weather geek, and it's really nice to see my geeky audience, if you will, in person, even if it's just one time a year. It's a really nice opportunity for me to see everyone. Anyway, on to the weather, and we are now into meteorological autumn, which began last week, but of course Labor Day itself today kind of is the unofficial end of summer. Just a reminder that things slide in a hurry during this transitional season of autumn. By the end of this month, our average high is down to 66, and by the end of meteorological autumn, our average high is only 42 degrees just after Thanksgiving, so it's a long way to go. All right, quick review of the summer. I did this last Thursday, but in case you missed it, this will be our hottest summer, meteorological summer anyway, since 1995. Certainly warmer than the last few years. 2012, actually 2010, 11, and 12 were all hot. Then 13, 14, and 15 were at or below average, but this year it was well above the average. But again, meteorological summer is in the books. Fall is off to a warm start, though. Temperatures well above the average today. We hit 84 this afternoon, pretty close to our forecast of 85 put out this morning. So it was a toasty day, but it wasn't that humid. I was out at the fair doing the weather live at 6, and it was hot in the sun, but there wasn't much in the way of humidity. And putting a bow on the Canfield Fair this year, just as we expected, this will be the most comfortable fair since 2010. We reeled off several hot ones in a row, including last year, which was the third hottest since 1965. Since 1965, 1973. The hottest on record in that purple color. But nonetheless, this year, while it did warm up towards the end, easily more comfortable than the last few years. All right, this evening, let's take a broad look across the country. What we have going on this evening, your eye is certainly drawn to the East Coast. This is Hermine, still circling, circling the drain, if you will, off the coast of New Jersey and Long Island. It's been an ugly day. Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, down to Long Island. But Hermine ended up not being as big of a deal for the Jersey Shore, heading down towards Ocean City, Maryland, places like that, as it could have been. Now, there's a lot of beach erosion. There were problems. But this didn't hook left enough to cause real big, widespread issues over there. Temperature-wise, a little taste of fall starting to come into the upper Midwest. This evening, it's only in the 50s in Billings, Montana, and Great Falls, 61 in Bismarck, but it's still summertime, and a lot of the rest of the lower 48 states. And I mentioned the humidity or the dew points. Still not that muggy, but the soupy air is just to our west. And this warm front's coming east tomorrow and bringing with it a return of some July-like air. Not only hot, but humid as well. We are not done with summer just yet. That is for sure. We've got a big change coming over the next few days. Thankfully, it's not going to last long. We're into September now, and these heat waves, if you will, typically are fairly short-lived at this time of the year. Dew points rising into the upper 60s by tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. We're going to hover around 70 Tuesday night, Wednesday, and again Wednesday night. It is really going to be stifling for a lot of people heading back to work and school. Now, it's interesting. The models are trying, with the warm front tomorrow, or the dew point surge, if you will, to spin up some isolated shower activity in the afternoon. I have a 10% chance in our forecast on the app, if you look on the app. Might have to make it 20, but it's a low chance nonetheless. I can't rule out some sort of quick passing shower with this boundary coming through today. We actually had a couple of showers out in Indiana earlier on today. We could have something similar in our neck of the woods tomorrow afternoon. Something to keep an eye on. Wednesday, our rain chance is pretty small. Once again, I've only got a 20% chance in the forecast. Just heat and humidity, basically. It's really not much of a trigger on Wednesday. Better chance on Thursday in the afternoon. I think we start dry Thursday afternoon. Weak front, the first of two fronts, comes in, and spotty activity Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. And then what happens to that front is a challenging forecast. And, a Friday night at this time of the year is an important forecast. I'll have coaches calling Dana and therefore calling me on Friday saying, hey, what's the deal? That front I mentioned on Thursday that brings us the shower and thunderstorm chance is going to stall somewhere. And then there'll be a little ripple or two that rides along it. Now, the timing will be critical on this. Could some of the shower and perhaps thunderstorm activity wait until after Friday Night Football? That's possible, yeah. It's also possible it comes in just in time for football. It's too early to make that call. But the possibility is there anyway that we get wet Friday evening. And then a more significant front with a stronger area of low pressure coming in on Saturday. Notice our closed-off low up here in Michigan. Cold front back here, warm front over here. It'll be a juicy atmosphere on Saturday. These could be some strong thunderstorms, possibility anyway for Saturday. But this is a strong front, and behind it we've got a big change coming. Check out the dew point plunge by Sunday. It's going to be muggy tomorrow through Saturday, but then we're going to get back to the kind of air mass we had a few days ago. Sunday and Monday really looks nice. Dew points will be dropping quickly, and looks nice and sunny as well. So something to look forward to certainly there by the end of the weekend and the start of next week after a pretty muggy stretch. As far as the longer range goes, I wanted to touch on the kind of the 10 to 20 day period this evening because it looks kind of interesting. I think summer's last gasp, if you will, is about to unfold here over the next several days. And then the chances of that kind of heat returning are significantly lower for the rest of the month. The 10 to 20 day outlook on the climate forecast system model here paints a lot of cool temperatures in the middle of the country. Now, we're sort of on the edge here. I don't think this is a cold or even a real chilly pattern in the 10 to 20 day period, but there could be some below average days here from the 15th through the 25th. That's the temperatures. Now, when we look at precipitation, I think it's a largely dry pattern. Sure, there'll be a little rain here and there, but with fresh Canadian air masses coming down out of Canada like this, they tend to be pretty dry air masses. So if it's going to be cool, particularly out here in the middle of the country during that 10 to 20 day period, it makes sense that it'd be drier than average as well. So actually looks pretty darn pleasant in that 10 to 20 day period. Not a lot of rain, which isn't going to make some people happy, but also not much sustained heat. So again, this could be summer's last gasp over the next several days. At least upper 80s seem very unlikely once we're done with this upcoming pattern. Thanks for sticking with me on Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. I'll see you on 21 News at 11. Fresh edition of Weather Geeks online Tuesday evening by about 8 to 8:30.